have you? I don't want to forget this before I ask. Have you implemented dynamic pricing or juicer at all
Ah,
in your company?
I'm happy you asked. So for those of you that are watching the video, I'm holding up Monday's edition of the Wall Street Journal. This is a proud Cali BBQ moment, but restaurants experiment with surge pricing, and Cali BBQ is the lead in the story.
No way.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, dude, yesterday I was on Australian radio in Perth. Last night I was on a radio program. I was on national news, interviewed for Nation's Restaurant News. Um, but yeah, it says if you're hungry for barbecue on a Saturday night this month, the delivery of a pulled pork sandwich from Cali Barbecue could cost you around $18. Or you could hold off a few days later and order the same sandwich on a weekday afternoon around $12. Restaurants like San Diego Cali Barbecue are experimenting with a form of dynamic pricing long used by airlines, hotels, and ride-hailing services.
So let me just comment about that. I was just watching something on Reels about like what it takes to be a chef, and it's long hours and low
Is it
pay
chef?
and all this stuff. And it's like in the comments, they're like, "Yeah, but why are we accepting this?"
Yeah,
And it's the same thing as far as a restaurateur goes. It's like, why are we accepting the low margins? Why are we accepting that the price? We can't do what the hotels and the airlines, why do they get to do it and we can't? It makes no sense. I mean, so I'm very interested in that, and I think it's going to be a learning curve. Like, people are going to get pissed, of course, at first. I think until they understand, like, listen, they're doing this all over the place. And if pricing is that much of an issue for you, then come back on Sunday at 11 when nobody else is in the restaurant and you can get your $10 pulled pork sandwich. You know?
do you know what the problem is?
What's the problem?
The problem is the media. The media that's telling this story. They're, I talked to this reporter from the Wall Street Journal, and I was very clear that we do not do surge pricing. You know
Yeah,
what the definition of surge is?
I can
It's a
imagine.
sudden, powerful force or upward movement. That's what surge is. When we're talking about surge pricing, it's referring back to what Uber did, where it was 2x, 3x, 4x the traditional fare. So instead of a $40 trip, it was $120. This
Right.
is surge pricing. Dynamic pricing, on the other
Yeah.
hand, is incremental changes.
Right.
Technology doing, and also to the benefit of the consumer.
Right.
As a consumer, if you don't need to get the barbecue at 12 o'clock on a Sunday and you'd like to pay a little bit less per pound for your brisket and you're willing to pick it up at, let's say, 10:45, as long as Cali Barbecue can communicate to you, hey, if you order it at 10:45, you're going to save you and your family $24. Great. Well,
Hmm.
I can only come at 12 and you're going to have to pay $24 more. Well,
Right.
people are going to be okay with that. The peaks and valleys of business is the problem. This is just basic supply and demand. Happy hour pricing has been around forever. That is dynamic pricing. Early
Right.
bird pricing is dynamic pricing.
Right.
But the media has put it out there that restaurateurs are surging. I'm not surging anything. If I was surging, I would go out of business.
Right.
I want to benefit the customer. I want more customers. I want lifetime customers. You think I'm in the transaction business? This has nothing to do with it. I'm not trying to make 20 bucks off of one person and laugh and go, oh, I really got them. How do you think that's going to do for the next day of business? They're not going to come back next year. Why would I spend all this time doing media and marketing if that's how I'm going to treat my customers? It doesn't make any sense.
Right. No, I think that the whole concept is very interesting, and that's why I get fired up. Is like, why is it okay? People just accept, oh, it's we're flying on spring break, that the prices are going to be higher than
Yeah.
normal. People accept it in other industries, but
Do you pay
like
the
to your
same price
point,
for milk when you go grocery shopping?
what's that?
No. Do you pay the same price for milk when you go grocery shopping? You
Well,
don't.
yeah.
Prices change
Hmm.
everywhere. The price changes on gasoline.
Right.
Like, this is economics. But people are used to a paper menu that's printed. And because the paper menu is printed and it's changed once a year or once a quarter at a restaurant, there's no thought that digitally we can change the pricing that happens in our restaurant. And the goal isn't to punish the customer. The goal is to stay in business, to build
Yeah.
a profitable and sustainable business.
Yeah, exactly. That's so interesting. Who is the guy that runs Juicer?
Ashwin,
Ashwin.
Ashwin Palmani. And if you're not following Ashwin on LinkedIn, he is the best person to follow on LinkedIn. He lives in Austria. He builds in public. He does videos every day, but he's educating the industry. He has a background in the hotel and lodging industry, where they've long done dynamic pricing.
For sure.
The
That's so
technology
cool.
that he's bringing to restaurants is revolutionary, for sure.